Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Monday, November the 8th, 2021. This is Wake Up with Ray G, brought to you by Bets TV. Make sure, damn it, go to your Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever you use to stream podcasts and subscribe to the Wake Up with Ray G podcast, as well as on YouTube. You can check this show out live on YouTube, Bets TV Media. Go to Bets TV on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We had a lot of football this weekend. Jordan, how are you, my friend? How was your weekend? Let me add you to the broadcast. How you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Stone, I love that you're so forward thinking. All the MVP QBs that played, they didn't play well.
We got
Ray,
the comments are going
helmet.
now? The comments are going now?
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Lindsay's in here. Jorgen's in here. Stone's in here. Brandon's in here.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's out there. If you're listening.
Shout out to Brandon, baby girl, born over the weekend,
sir.
man. Hey, Brandon had a little girl, 7 pounds, 7 ounces, I believe. So shout out to you, my man. It's such a blessing. Awesome thing. Happy for you, man. Happy for you. But go ahead. Sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Download the podcast, listen everywhere, and download every episode. We need all those downloads we can get, man. We get you guys in here. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We love the live experience. And yes, Ivan, Ray, we're going to talk about that, but I don't think Ray's going to be wearing the Cowboys helmet no more. I don't think he's going to be wearing it no more. And that's okay. We'll figure it out.
Listen. All right. We'll get there. We'll get there in due time. We've got some things that we need to get to. Let me pull up the damn show sheet. We were talking before the show. Jay is feeling this time change, man. Time change. I'm up. I feel good. Had a good workout this morning, man. I'm feeling good, man. This will last all of 4 days until we start to get acclimated to it, and then it just feels regular. But right now, it's feeling good. We're happy that you're here. But let's get to the comments are going crazy. Let's get to the damn show, man. Let's hit the morning run.
Wake up. This is the morning run.
Run, Forrest, run!
All right. So it's reported Odell Beckham will be released today, or he is released. He's going to be released today. He's got to clear waivers, and apparently all indications are he is going to clear waivers, and then he'll have his choice to pick whatever team he wants to play for. And what they talked about, I heard, I think it was Florio on from NFL Network said the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Saints are at the top of Odell Beckham Jr.'s wish list. Jay, what are you thinking? Where does OBJ land? They say he wants to go to a contending team. I don't know why he would want to go to Seattle if that were the case, or the 49ers. Neither of those teams are contending for anything. Where do you think Odell Beckham just ends up? Real quick, just your prediction on where he lands.
I'm definitely with you on the Saints, but I think what I saw about the Seahawks was that Russell Wilson was advocating for it. Whether Odell wants to actually go there, different story. I think the Saints still the best spot. No clear number one wide receiver. They sort of have a quarterback, but they have a great defense, and I think they have a small shot.
Does OBJ want to deal with that? He complained about Baker Mayfield, and we'll get into Baker, man. We'll get into Baker in a little bit. He complained about Baker. Does he really want to go to Trevor Siemian or Taysom Hill? Like, does that even?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know how this is going to end up, but OBJ watch is in full effect. I'm excited to see where he lands. Jay, you monitor the comments. They are coming in fast and furious right now. Before we get to the NFL, we are going to start with college football. And there were a lot of letdowns and beatdowns this past weekend. I think the big game that everybody was excited for was the Ole Miss versus Liberty game. And the reason why is we've got the potential number 1, number 2 quarterbacks in this draft class facing off against one another, Malik Willis and Sam Howell. And to be honest with you, this was all Matt Corral, all Ole Miss. Matt Corral was flawless, playing on one leg. He was 20 for 27, 324 yards and a touchdown. Didn't do anything on the ground. Again, the ankle injury severely limited Matt Corral in this one. But in my opinion, this was actually a really dope weekend for the top quarterback prospects because we had 4 of my top 5 guys playing all on the early slate, all on the 11 a.m. Central Time game. Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, and Malik Willis. This matchup was all about Matt Corral. Malik Willis, I believe he took 9 sacks. He had a couple of throws. He had 3 interceptions in this one, no touchdowns. Listen, I just do not think you want Malik Willis starting for your NFL franchise from day one. I truly believe the best outcome for Malik Willis is to land in a situation like Jordan Love, where he's asked to back up a veteran. He's not asked to start right away. I think there was a clear difference between the two quarterbacks. And while a lot of people say, well, Ray, it was Liberty, they don't have the talent of Ole Miss. They don't have the players. If Malik Willis would have went out there and shredded Ole Miss, nobody would have made that excuse. My philosophy, and maybe I'm just too hard when I'm looking at prospects or I'm evaluating talent, I didn't expect Malik Willis to go in there and throw for 500 yards versus Ole Miss, but I did expect him to show flashes that warrant him to be in consideration for the number one quarterback in the 2022 class. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. There was bad decisions. One of the interceptions wasn't his fault. It was just a great play by the DB, bad play by the receiver. Two bad throws. The last one that he made, he was just heaving it up in the end zone trying to make a play. But I'm tired of people making excuses for players when they play bad. And then when they play good versus inferior teams, it's like they're the best thing, the best thing since sliced bread. I wanted to see Malik Willis do something that makes me say, you know what, that dude has something that I think, at the next level, he's going to be legit. And I'm not gonna write him off of one game, but head to head versus the guy that he's going up against for the top quarterback spot, Malik Willis was a major letdown in this one for me. Again, not writing him off. I still have him as a tier one. Well, actually, he's not. There's one tier one quarterback for me, and that's Matt Corral. Everybody else is tier two and below, but he's still a top three quarterback for me right after Sam Howell. We saw Sam Howell. Jay, I've been saying it. He reminds me of Josh Allen, a lighter, a smaller version of Josh Allen. What Sam Howell's doing on the ground this year, didn't really do it through the air. He was outplayed through the air by Sam Hartman. Good grief, Hartman went off. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Sam Howell. Who else played this weekend in college football? Georgia continued its dominance over Missouri, 43-6. Alabama escaped by the skin of their teeth versus a hapless LSU team without their top receiver, without their top cornerback, without their top linebacker. The LSU, 20-14. Alabama, I'm going to talk shit about Cincinnati in a second, barely beating Tulsa. Alabama barely beat LSU team, who's just been decimated this year. They have no head coach. They have no skill position players. And Alabama, they rushed for 6 yards. 6 yards in the entire game versus LSU. Just a pathetic showing from Alabama. And Jay, did I not call the upset? Purdue over Michigan State. And not only was it an upset, Purdue beat the brakes off of Michigan State. Michigan State was a fraud. Kenneth Walker is dope. Kenneth Walker should be second in the Heisman odds. But they were an absolute fraud. An absolute fraud. And it's a damn shame Michigan couldn't get the job done because I think they've got a better chance of taking down Ohio State than Michigan State. David Bell went bonkers on Michigan State. 11 receptions, over 200 yards again. And then this damn quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, 536 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Do you know what C.J. Stroud is going to do to Michigan State? It's going to be what a fraud. What a fraud. Ohio State struggled versus damn Nebraska half the game as well, 26-17. Oregon, 26-6 versus Washington in the monsoon. Our Prize Picks power play, it hit. Malik Willis, rushing yards over, got that. Matt Corral, passing yards over. And Deuce Vaughn, just incredible player, Deuce Vaughn. That happened. I think after this past weekend, Jay, if I had to rank what the College Football Playoff Committee is going to do, I don't think we're going to see a lot of changes. Let's see. Do we have the I think we're going to see Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State slip into 4. Cincinnati, nope, you're not going to be in the top 4 again. Dude, I got we posted that college football reaction video, the playoff rankings, and I got so many thumbs downs on YouTube for that from Cincinnati fans. They just hate me. They hate me. They say Cincinnati should be number 1 in the country. But Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, it was set up for Ohio State to get in. Michigan State taking that L. They should drop down, probably past Cincinnati. And this is what we're looking like. I don't think Alabama's going to move down. It was an SEC battle. You know, it was a hard-fought SEC win. LSU, Alabama is always a hard game. That's what the playoff committee will say, and they'll keep Alabama at 2. Georgia just looks, in my opinion, unbeatable at this point in time, and we'll see how that goes. Any takeaways from this past college football weekend for you, Jay, before we get into the NFL slate?
Most important takeaway for me is that we don't have to hear about Wake being in the college football contention anymore because they finally got beat down by Sam Howell. So I'm happy to see that. And like you talked about Alabama, their lack of dominance. When we talked about them, I said, I think LSU's going to play them hard. And then I wavered and I said Alabama was going to cover. So I'm just a fool. Don't listen to me. But LSU played them pretty well. Bama's not as dominant as we hope. And like you said, Georgia looks unbeatable. I don't know who's going to beat them, how anyone's going to beat them.
Man, the comments are fast and furious. Malik is a second-round QB. Listen, I think for those of us who really pay attention, like I think it's easy, and everybody isn't as tapped in as we are to the college world, right? So I think a lot of narratives are dual threat, Konami quarterbacks, the wave of the future. I keep saying it, and I will continue to preach this message. At the end of the day, you have to be able to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball accurately, period. Like when it's all said and done, if you cannot do those things, you will not be a starting quarterback in the NFL for long. And I'm not saying Malik Willis can't do that, but I would not, if I were an NFL GM, and my franchise, my job, my livelihood relied on Malik Willis or maybe Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Matt Corral, maybe even Carson Strong. I don't know if I can take
right?
I don't know if I could take that risk on Malik. I just don't, man. I get it. All the raw athletic ability, but we've seen that so many quarterbacks have raw talent. Yeah. EJ Manuel had raw talent. Jake Locker had raw talent. I don't know. It was one game again. This is, but I've been saying this about Willis for a while now. I've been saying this about Malik. All that running around and out-athleting Old Dominion and Villanova, that works versus those guys. We talked about Ole Miss's defense, one of the worst defenses in college football, and he took 9 sacks. And I was having some conversations with some people on Twitter. Well, isn't that a part of what a dual-threat quarterback does? You have to live with the sacks. No, get the ball out of your hands. And right now, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Kenny Pickett, loving what I'm seeing from Sam Howell, Carson Strong, and Matt Corral. Like, those are my guys, man. Again, for fantasy purposes, I still think you have to have Malik Willis inside that top 3, top 4. But if I'm on the clock and I'm pulling the trigger, I'll say this right now, and I'm calling the shot, Jay. Do not be shocked come May of next year when the first 3 quarterbacks' names we hear off the board are Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, and Carson Strong. Don't be shocked when those are the first 3 quarterbacks off of the board because Pickett and Strong, while they're not going to give you – now, Pickett had 57 rushing yards last weekend.
Yeah.
Carson Strong ruined my prop the last week because he had 4 rushing yards, but he ain't going to give you nothing on the ground. What those dudes can do from the pocket, going through their read and delivering the ball downfield accurately, that's what wins games in the NFL. It may not win you fantasy weeks, right? But that's what win games in the NFL. This class reminds me of a whole bunch of Mac Jones. You got a whole bunch of Mac Jones types players in this draft class. Just my opinion on this weekend of college football. I was looking at some updated Heisman odds after this weekend. Right now, Bryce Young is still in the lead. He threw for 302 and 2 versus LSU at plus 180. Kenneth Walker plus 240. C.J. Stroud plus 400. Matt Corral plus 550 and Caleb Williams plus 800. It's going to go to Bryce Young. I mean, it's going to go to Bryce Young. Potentially, maybe Kenneth Walker.
I was going to say, though, what if Bama loses, though? Like, that to me, that's the problem. If Bama loses, then he's in Matt Corral land, who's at plus 400 right now.
I don't think Matt Corral has a shot, man. I think it's going to be Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I think those are going to be the 2 that win it. If Bama loses, Ohio State wins the Big Ten title. They're number 2 in the college football playoff ranking. C.J. Stroud's going to win the Heisman, and I put $100 on. I put $100 on C.J. Stroud over the summer, so I'd be fine. I've actually got action on Young, Stroud, and Corral, and Caleb Williams, so I got action on 4 of the damn top 5 Heisman odds players right now. What are they saying? What are they talking about? All I hear is boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Stroud if they run the table. Corral is going to win it. Get Stroud out of there. Matt Bruning, when I say he does not like C.J. Stroud can go out there and throw for 606, no incompletions, and Bruning's going to find something. Bruning wants that McCord love, man. I love you, Matt. Love you, Matt. All right, we got a lot of football to get into, so let's just start. Let's start at rapid reaction, man. And the first thing that I thought about after this weekend of NFL is Tom Brady improved his MVP odds by not playing. Tom Brady's odds should have gotten better. I have not looked up the odds for NFL MVP, but Tom Brady should have gotten improved odds from not playing this weekend because Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray didn't play. Those guys were terrible. Matthew Stafford was terrible. Tom Brady had to have had a bump in his MVP odds by not playing, man. Just good for Tampa Bay. Good for Tampa Bay. They saw a lot of top teams lose, and Tom Brady probably should be close to the top. Did you see where Brady is, Jay?
Brady is now tied with Josh Allen at plus 350.
I knew it. I mean, it was that's all I kept thinking about is Tom Brady improved his MVP chances by not playing this weekend because everybody else absolutely wet the bed. And Jay, let me tell you something, man. One of our loyal listeners, his young daughter, watches this show. Penelope, that's her name. His young daughter. We have got to watch the foul language because I do not want to encourage the kids to use bad words. So let's just watch it. I almost said S-H-I-T the bed. Penelope probably can't spell yet, so we can get away with that. But shout out to you, Penelope, our youngest listener. We love you. We appreciate you. Tom Brady, NFL frontrunner, man. I think he's going to win it. The narrative is there. I think he's going to win it. Let's talk about one of the matchups, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Minnesota Vikings. Lamar, 266, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had 21 carries, 120 yards in an overtime win versus the Vikings. I asked the question, Lamar Jackson MVP? Don't know where his odds are, but
10 to 1.
10 to 1. 10 to 1. 10 to 1 for Lamar Jackson. The New England Patriots got a victory. While they were on bye versus the Carolina Panthers this past weekend. They got a victory. It wasn't pretty New England offensively. I think the leading rusher was Ramondre Stevenson. Mac Jones really couldn't get anything going through an interception to Stephon Gilmore, revenge game for him. But this one was all about Sam Darnold and how bad Sam Darnold played, man. 16 for 33, 172 yards, 3 interceptions, one of them a pick six, like 88 yards to J.C. Jackson. In Sam Darnold's last 4 games, he's got 1 touchdown to 9 interceptions in his last 4 games. What a bad trade. He is just not playing well. I'm trying to be a better person today. I'm not going to say he's terrible. I can't. He's just terrible. I can't be nice. Sam Darnold, I've been saying it from start to finish. This is the same dude who was a turnover-prone machine at USC. He was turnover-prone with the Jets, and he's still turnover-prone with the Carolina Panthers. And I think here's the question, man. We've asked this question for 2 years, Jay. Who was responsible for all the magic at LSU in 2019? Was it Joe Burrow, Joe Brady, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I think it was everybody. I think it was just a perfect storm of incredible circumstances that produced Chase and Burrow and Joe Brady, because Joe Brady, he doesn't look like an NFL head coach right now. I'm just telling you that, right? He was all the hot wave. His offense has been putrid. Amir Abdullah getting all this work. They look bad. They should definitely be in for Deshaun Watson over the offseason. But I think that LSU team is a product of all of them, man. Just good players in the right place at the right time, and it just worked out beautifully for them. Because I don't think it was just Joe Brady or Joe Burrow in that matchup. Dolphins versus the Texans. What a dumpster fire of a game, man. Tua was a surprising active. Broken finger for Tua Tagovailoa, so Jacoby Brissett had to start. Tyrod Taylor back off of IR. I actually started him in a fantasy league. He was god-awful, god-awful. 3 interceptions, a bunch of sacks, fumbling the ball. These are 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, and unfortunately for Miami, they traded what would be the number 3 overall pick right now for Jalen Waddle. So they're just going to be bad for a long time. good luck to Deshaun Watson if that's where you want to go, because this team is putrid. Outside of Mike Gesicki and Jalen Waddle, who's there to be excited about? Miami stinks. They're a terrible team. They got a dub 17-9, but they're terrible. The Giants beat the Raiders. The Giants. Daniel Jones threw for 110 yards. Devontae Booker, the best player on the Giants. Kadarius Toney, 1 target. Kenny Golladay was back, 2 receptions. Evan Ingram scored a touchdown. The Giants just stink, man. They're terrible. Derek Carr, multiple turnovers in this game. Hunter Henry was good. And Bryan Edwards, once again, the great Bryan Edwards, goose egg. He ain't it, folks. He's not it. Stop with Bryan Edwards season. It will never be here. It's like the 5th season. Summer wing, summer, spring, fall, winter. No Bryan Edwards. There's no season available for Bryan Edwards ever. It's a wrap. He's terrible. They don't throw him the ball. He's uninvolved in the offense. Whatever. Hold him if you want. Bryan Edwards, what a colossal bust, man. Jesus, man. The Jaguars beat the Bills 9-6, or some would like to say 6-9 if you're rolling with Urban Meyer. It just depends on how you look at it. 6-9, 9-6. Hey, shout out to Urban Meyer. Ever since Urban Meyer got a lap dance in a bar, he's had his team ready to play. I guess that got the blood flowing, the energy going. Urban Meyer, he's looked okay. He's had his team ready to go. They show up every week. I know they got beat down by the Seahawks, but normally every week they look like they're ready to play. I like what Urban Meyer's doing. He probably needs to get a couple of more of those lap dances to help him feel better and get his team inspired to play. Shame him a little bit, humble him, but he's been a pretty damn good coach ever since that happened. But the story in this one was Josh Allen versus Josh Allen crime. The first time in NFL history, 2 players, I think there was one other time 2 players played against each other, but the whole storyline was, will Josh Allen, the defensive end from the Jacksonville Jaguars, get a sack of Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills? Not only did he get a sack, he recovered a fumble and he picked off Josh Allen. He's going to win NFL Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, he was fantastic. Josh Allen was horrible in this one. The Bills are terrible. They can't run the ball. I don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen is all they have. He's their best running back. He's their quarterback. But to score 6 points versus Jacksonville, they should be ashamed of themselves. That was a bad loss. Bad loss. And, all they talked about the entire game was Josh Allen versus Josh Allen. We all know that. Atlanta tried their best, Jay. I don't know if you watched this one. They tried their best to blow another lead. Atlanta tried their best to blow another lead versus the Saints, but they held off. They held them off 27-25. Cordell Patterson, just an absolute beast. Mike Davis almost fumbled the game away. I was just watching it. Literally, they were trying to just milk the clock for the field goal, and he fumbles it. He fumbles it and almost lost the ball. But I'll say this, man. The Falcons are quietly playing really good football. They're 4-4. They get the Dallas Cowboys next week. I'm not going to overlook Atlanta, but they're quietly been playing some pretty decent football over the last couple of weeks. The Los Angeles Chargers won a last-second field goal over the Philadelphia Eagles. Justin Herbert was phenomenal. Over 80% completion percentage, 32 for 38, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 on the ground. Jalen Hurts actually looked good in this one, and it was an interesting contrast to watch Herbert versus Justin Herbert versus Jalen Hurts. JH and JH, 2 JH guys, both quarterbacks from the 2020 class. And you can just tell how much confidence Brandon Staley and that coaching staff, how much confidence they have in Justin Herbert to throw the ball, and how little confidence Nick Sirianni and Philadelphia have in Jalen Hurts to pass the ball. I think he threw the ball 17 times, completed 11 passes. But he looked better. There were times where he stood in the pocket, Jay. He stood in the pocket and delivered the ball. And when he stands in the pocket, I'm telling y'all, no BS. Devontae Smith is open probably 9 out of 10 times. For every 10 routes he runs, he's open 9 times out of 10. And when Jalen Hurts set his feet, stayed in the pocket, didn't roll right, he hit Devontae Smith, who had a very good game. 5 receptions, 116 yards, a touchdown in this matchup. Should have had 2. Jalen Hurts missed him in the corner of the end zone. But this was a positive step forward. If Philadelphia continues to play like this, they very well may push for a wild card spot. It was a very, They played a really good game on the offensive side of the ball, but they just could do nothing with Justin Herbert in the Chargers passing attack. James Conner went beast mode. He is probably going to be a sore SOB today. Chase Edmonds went down. They had Colt McCoy, no Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, and James Conner went full just Terminator on who the hell did they even play? Who'd they play? The 49ers. The Kyle Shenanigans.
Yeah, the 49ers.
The Kyle Shenanigan 49ers. James Conner, 96 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 receptions, 77 yards, 1 touchdown through the air. Colt McCoy looking like he was playing at UT again, man. Colt McCoy was running, throwing the ball, man. He looked good. The Cardinals leading the NFC. They looked good. To get this win without Kyler Murray, without DeAndre Hopkins, impressive victory for the Arizona Cardinals. And another devastating loss for the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo played well in this matchup. Stop making excuses for Kyle Shanahan. Let's stop. Stop making excuses for this guy. He has not been a good coach. I saw a tweet outside of his cool hat. What has he really done? He's got a cool hat. Every time they show Kyle Shanahan, I'm like, what's that red hat? I want that red hat. I like that hat. But outside of that hat, He's a lukewarm coach, man. It was good to see George Kittle back on the field, over 100 yards and a touchdown. But this team, man, it's like I don't even think they should bench Jimmy G because he's playing bad, but they're not going anywhere. So you might as well just start Trey Lance to see what you have in him. But they won't do it. I'm sticking to the belief that Kyle Shenanigans did not want Trey Lance. He wanted Mac Jones, and whatever you can do to keep Trey Lance on the bench, that's what's going to happen. So just crazy to see that. I'm seeing Eno Benjamin being talked about. Yeah, he had a nice run, truck stick. Definitely grab you some Eno Benjamin off waivers. Brandon Ayuk is alive, and then I see the Slim Reaper, and then and now people are saying I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the Dallas Cowboys. So without further ado, we will get into the Dallas Cowboys, and they lost 30-16. The helmet curse is real. The helmet curse is real. I was very disappointed that Jordan didn't put this on the 5 main games that we were going to highlight. I said it was blasphemous. I besmirched his name. And the Cowboys went out here and really lost 30-0. Those 16 points were empty calories at the end of the game. Malik Turner or Malik Taylor, Malik Willis, I don't know who it was catching the touchdowns for us at the end, but those were empty 16 points. Dallas was completely dominated in this matchup. This game was about as bad a loss as Dallas has taken at home in recent memory. This was a pathetic loss by the Dallas Cowboys. The Denver Broncos ran 73 plays to Dallas's 57 plays. 73-57 is not going to get it done. Dallas lost the time of possession battle. Get this, 41 minutes to 19. 41-19 time of possession for the Dallas Cowboys. That is not a recipe for success. Dak was back. We thought it was going to be clicking, and he looked like a guy who's been off for 2 weeks. He wasn't sharp. The offense wasn't sharp. Tyron Smith was out, but there's no excuse. They kicked Terrence Steele to the left side. Terrence Steele, people have been saying he's playing like a Pro Bowl player, so I don't want to hear any excuses about the offensive line. Denver was physical from start to finish, punched us in the mouth. Javonta Williams and Melvin Gordon just running the ball down our throats. Nobody wanted to tackle. Coach 30, the guy that we talk about that makes the funny videos, he is going to make a video about the Javonta Williams run where he's just running through 4 Dallas Cowboy defenders. On the other hand, Denver ran the ball 41 times for 190 yards. 41 carries for 190 yards on the ground, just physically beat us up. On the other hand, Dallas ran the ball 16 times for 78 yards. That's not going to cut it for this Dallas Cowboys team. We could not stop the run. We couldn't stop the run. There was a play coming out of halftime where Dallas 3-and-out Denver, blocked the punt. The punt was, because it was blocked, but the ball went forward, it was like a regular punt. Dallas touches the damn ball. Denver recovers. Momentum completely gone. The only bright spot in this matchup, honestly, is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons had 10 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for a loss. Trayvon Diggs was beat deep again by Tim Patrick. And A lot of people are talking about, he's the best corner in the NFL. Hell no. Not even close. He's a very, very good cornerback. He's a second-year player. He's learning. I want the number 7 jersey. But right now, Trayvon Diggs is big-time risk-reward, boom-bust corner. He's either going to pick 6 you or he's going to give up 6. There's no in-between for Trayvon Diggs. There's zero in-between. It's either a big play or no play. Dallas just didn't come to play, man. They did not come to play. They were out-coached. They were outplayed. They were out-physicaled. The only player that looked like they showed up for the Dallas Cowboys, Randy Gregory, was non-existent in this matchup. Amari Cooper dropping passes. Dak had CeeDee Lamb for 2 touchdowns, missed them. Was Micah Parsons, who's honestly, Jay, I think he's going to be an all-pro player as a rookie. He's that good. And, again, I know a lot of people are like, Dallas should have taken a corner. You know, they should have traded up, Micah Parsons, I'm trying to think of a more just impactful rookie on the defensive side of the ball. I can't think of one. He is incredible, man. Like, if you were doing if you were building your franchise right now and you're thinking of defensive players in the NFL, Aaron Donald, probably number 1. Maybe Chase Young up there at the top. But Micah Parsons would have to be, if you're building your team and you get your choice of any defensive player in the NFL, how high would Micah Parsons be for you on that list?
That's tough, man. That's
I know it's a tough question.
When you're talking about Micah, when you're talking about what is it? Man, why is his name skipping me now? Micah Parsons. He reminds me of Derwin James's impact as a rookie. That's kind of where I go. And one of the reasons why is because, Micah Parsons obviously a linebacker, right? But Derwin James can play deep safety, but he can play close to the line of scrimmage. He's a great tackler. He gets a lot of sacks, all those things. He's kind of everything that the Seahawks want Jamal Adams to be at safety. But as far as impact players, that's kind of where my comp would go for more recent memory. Of course, there's impact linebacker at the position. You think of Roquan Smith. You think of the guy in Tampa Bay. His name escapes me right now. Patrick Queen's another guy. But Micah Parsons is doing things that you don't see young linebackers do. Right?
Talking about Devin White?
Devin White. Yes, yeah. Devin White when he came into the league, right? You just don't see guys do this at such a young age, and especially on such a bad defense. He's honestly all they have. Like you talked about, Trayvon Diggs is great, and he does what he does, and he's made some spectacular plays so far, but he's giving up a lot as well. Micah Parsons doesn't give an inch. He doesn't give anything up. He's been the leading tackler almost every single week for the Dallas Cowboys, and I just don't see a reason why he's going to stop. I don't see a reason why he's going to stop. But to touch on one thing, Javonta Williams, first game over 100 yards, 17 carries, 111 yards. He's building towards a big end of the year. I think him and Melvin Gordon are a great tandem, but he's definitely getting the lion's share of the carries, and I think that's going to continue going forward. Shocking to see them trade Von Miller and play so well against Dallas Cowboys. We joke about the helmet, but we both thought they would win either way. It's not like you're alone in that at all. But the Cowboys just got shredded all game long. I was writing down some notes because my dad was pissed because his Cowboys lost. My mom got kicked out of the survivor pool, and we both look like idiots for taking the Cowboys just because you put on that stupid helmet. So no more helmet going forward. But yeah, Myles Garrett as well, Brandon, like you said, is up there for sure. The pass rushers, you got to put up there. All the elite pass rushers, the Bosas, I think are in contention as well. But Micah Parsons, it's tough, I think, to keep him outside your top 10, top 12 as far as just young potential upside guys.
I think he's much higher than that, man. I would say, honestly, I think he's like right there at 4 or 5. I mean, I think it's Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, Chase Young, maybe Chase Young, edge rusher, and then probably Micah Parsons, man. Jalen Ramsey is up there for me. I asked the question, Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey. We saw Ramsey's impact last night, just how good he is. But what Parsons is doing, dude, like I don't think he's just he's a linebacker, he's a rusher, he's a strong safety in the box. He is the ultimate chess piece. The Derwin James rookie impact comp was a great one. I think that's a really good one. He was the lone bright spot for the Dallas Cowboys, who get the Atlanta Falcons next week. And I'm not chopping that one up as a dub. Dallas should win that game. The Cowboys should win that game. But Atlanta with Cordero Patterson, Matt Ryan, they're playing good football offensively. Kyle Pitts, that's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't know if Dallas has anybody that's going to be able to match up with Kyle Pitts one-on-one. one of Micah Parsons' weak areas is in the pass defending game, like in the passing game. He's not the best defender against the pass, but you tell that pit bull to go seek the quarterback. He ran down Jared Jeudy on a play. He's just incredible, man. I think he's a top 5 defensive player in the NFL already as a rookie. And there's only been one rookie in NFL history, one rookie to win most valuable player and rookie of the year in the same year. Do you know who that is? If you're a student of the game, if you're a true historian, you should know who this is. One rookie to win defensive player of the year and rookie of the year in the same season. Greatest defensive player to ever play football.
Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor. There it is. Lawrence
Wow,
Taylor.
look at me.
Defensive player of the year and rookie of the year in the same season. Just incredible. Micah Parsons, I don't think it's out of the question. I don't think it's out of the question for him to win defensive player of the year. If he continues to put up numbers, Dallas is a high seed going into the NFL playoffs. I don't think it's out of the question. Maybe it's a long shot. Maybe you still have Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, potentially, depending on where Cleveland finishes. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we see Micah Parsons be a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. He's had that type of impact for the Dallas Cowboys. But let's talk about impact of Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., no OBJ. They had DPJ, so there was no problem for the Cleveland Browns, who were underdogs, 2.5-point dogs in this matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and they beat the living breaks off of Cincinnati, 41-16. Jay, you like Cincinnati in this game. That was an L. You took Cincinnati on the spread. That was an L. They did hit over 47 just about single-handedly because of the Cleveland Browns. But what were your thoughts on this game, man? The Browns, the Browns came to play. That defense actually showed up. And Denzel Ward playing that out route to Jamar Chase beautifully. Pick six them 100 yards to the zone. Jamar Chase shut down once again. Shut down, but he dropped a touchdown pass. Joe Burrow put it in the money for 23-yard touchdown pass. He dropped that joint. But again, another back-to-back games, Jamar Chase coming down to earth. No touchdowns in this matchup. He was 6 for 49. T. Higgins led the way through the air. What do you think about this one? What do you think about the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals? Are the Bengals for real? The Browns crushed the Bengals. The Bengals crushed the Ravens. The Browns lose to the Steelers. It's just one big cycle of just these three teams just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What are your thoughts on this one, man?
Man, this breaks my heart. Bad Burrow came to play today. He just did. Like you talked about with that out route to Chase, he was not open. The throw wasn't strong enough. Open. It just wasn't there. Like when you watch that play back, you're like, why would you throw that? And to throw it so low on top, you want to maybe try and throw it high and away, hope Chase gets it. Okay, at least if he doesn't catch it, it's not a pick six. But he threw it right at his body. He really threw it at his hip a little bit behind him.
I thought he tried to back shoulder it. But it didn't work out. Denzel Ward.
He did, but it didn't get there, right?
Yeah.
Denzel Ward was right there. And when you just watch it, he was there the whole time. He didn't bite. It wasn't it. But bad Burrow came to play, and that's the biggest thing. You know, when Burrow is on, he's great. Like, he is great. But when he is off, and we've seen it against the game against Chicago when he threw 3 picks, now this game he threw 2 picks. Yes, these are good defenses, but you can't have your quarterback throw this many picks. He's almost leading the league in interceptions. So, for me, it's just hard to rate these guys. You know, 2 weeks ago, the Bengals were 5-2. They were, I believe, at the top of the AFC. Now, the Titans are at the top of the AFC. And now they're 5-4, and I think I put this on the show sheet. In the AFC right now, if the Steelers win, there's 9 teams in the AFC with 5 wins. If the Steelers do win this game, they're 4-3.
Wow.
There's 9 teams with 5 wins. So you think about that, like all these teams are still fighting for position. But as far as the AFC North goes, there's still a lot of games to be played and just no clarity. Like the Ravens look good one week, then they look bad. Then the Bengals look good, then they look bad. The Browns look like they're reeling because they're got all these injuries. Then they come and drop 41 on Cincinnati. I don't know what to make of it.
In Cincinnati, on the road. Yeah. Let's give Cleveland their credit. On the road against a team who just took a bad loss to the Jets. And it was interesting because Tony Romo was talking about it. They said Cleveland's plan was they were not going to let Jamar Chase beat them. They were doubling him.
Yeah.
They had a safety over top. Denzel Ward was on him all day, and he still got open a couple of times, man. Chase is a great wide receiver, but Cleveland came to play. Baker Mayfield came to play. Nick Chubb,
Lord,
dude, and I didn't I say 2
he's
touchdowns?
Healthy.
Didn't I say Nick Chubb for 2 touchdowns plus 375? I said I like Nick Chubb to score 2. Dude, he's so good. Like the top running backs in the NFL, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb are just incredible. Just watching him run is just a joy. I mean, watching him run is a joy. I wonder. I'm not familiar with Cleveland history and allure to that degree, but I mean, is he the best Browns running back since Jim Brown? And I know that was like 60 years ago, but I don't know if it was 60 years ago, but you get what I'm saying. Like, is it the best running back Cleveland's had since Jim? I mean, he's that good, man. When he hit the open field, I want to see the miles per hour. I want to see the next-gen stats, miles per hour, and that Nick Chubb run. So good. Baker, look, for whatever reason, he plays better without Odell Beckham. For whatever reason, he didn't hit his over. It was set at 233. He didn't hit that, but they didn't need him to do that. I mean, defensively, that was the formula. Baker, take care of the ball, make plays when they're there. That was a beautiful throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones. And rely on Nick Chubb. Once they get Kareem Hunt back, you get another weapon for that pass-catching core. Just a phenomenal job. It'd be nice to see Cleveland draft a nice wide receiver 1 in the upcoming NFL draft. I don't know all the other areas they have. I'm just speaking from an offensive standpoint. But hell of a win for the Cleveland Browns. We talked a little bit about the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson and his performance in that overtime matchup. But we all have to give you credit. Tinfoil J. Rich. We made a bunch of fun of Jordan on the show on Friday because of his tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about Justin Jefferson. Please remind us of what happens with Justin Jefferson when he plays outdoors. Remind us.
Justin Jefferson is a boy from the South, you know. They make this proclamation about Drew Brees a little while back that he doesn't play good outdoors. Well, you know what? There are statistics to back up that Justin Jefferson does not play well outdoors. But I have to give him credit. I have to give him credit. When he hit that 50-yard touchdown, I thought I was toast. And the curse was lifted because he had never scored a touchdown outside. So he did break that streak, but he did not hit his over. So thankfully for me, you pressured me into it. The comments pressured me into it. I took the under, made some money.
Yeah,
made
some
money.
Justin
Jefferson.
You
very
took
close,
the under.
Very close call.
So
overtime really had me shaking in my boots.
I think we can dead the curse. The curse is over. The curse was lifted, right? He didn't hit his over, but he did score a touchdown. He did help block for Dalvin Cook. We all saw the running play with Justin Jefferson flailing his arms, made a block for Dalvin Cook, who had over 100 yards on the ground. Kirk Cousins didn't hit his over. I don't even think he had 200 passing yards in this matchup. Dalvin Cook smashed his over rushing yards. Justin Jefferson didn't get there through the air. Adam Thielen, plus 150 to score. We called that. You loved. I think you were the most bullish on Adam Thielen's over receiving yards. 58.5. Didn't even come close to that. Minnesota.
But if you took both, you covered. So, you know.
Yeah. If you took both, you covered.
Some proclamation.
Rashad Bateman played well. Marquise Brown played well again. And Baltimore, when you watch them, every time I watch Baltimore, you just never think they're out of it with Lamar Jackson. You just never think that. You just don't. They're never out of it with Lamar Jackson, man. Ever. We talked a little bit about the Chargers, Eagles. I don't think we have to cover that. But
Can I give you one stat from Lamar for a second, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
So for people who don't know and are unaware, first of all, this is a crazy stat about Lamar Jackson. He is on pace for almost 4,600 yards and 1,200 rushing yards. And he'd be the first player to run for, I think, over 500 yards and throw for 4,500. Yeah. And he's going to just blow that out of the water.
I think he's going to be like, he's got a shot, man. 10-1 odds for NFL MVP. He's got a shot because they keep winning. They keep winning. Back to the Chargers. Once again, Herbert, 32 for 38, 356, 2 touchdowns. There was a throw he made to Mike Williams where he rolled right. They do that. You know what play I'm talking about, where they do that deep crossing route with Mike Williams. and just the arm strength. You just see it, man. He's just such a good quarterback. The Chargers, I just don't think they are for real. I don't know if they have enough to actually, push for a title, but Justin Herbert played phenomenally in this matchup. Jalen Hurts, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about Jalen Hurts in the comments, and I agree. Philadelphia will have 3 picks in the top 15. 2 of those picks will be inside the top 10. If I were the Eagles, if I were running the Eagles, you build around Jalen Hurts. You draft Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. You find some defensive line help, and then you get the best available offensive lineman or defensive back. Like, you build around Hurts. I think this was, in my opinion, one of his more impressive games playing quarterback. He didn't roll right and throw it out of bounds. There were strategic running plays. They got Devontae Smith in the game. None of us saw the Smitty game coming because they hadn't been involved. None of the receivers had been involved in this offense. And shout out to Jordan Howard. Shout out to Jordan Howard, who is seizing an opportunity. Everyone left Jordan Howard for dead. He's only 27 years old. I think this is his backfield. I think this is Jordan Howard's backfield. Kenneth Gainwell, that dream is dead and gone. No love for Kenneth Gainwell and that Philadelphia Eagles offense. Just a great performance by Justin Herbert. We got to talk about Green Bay versus Kansas City. Green Bay versus Kansas City. Jay, as I look at the show sheet, we had all these bets talking about parlays to take, and all I see, literally, we've got to get some sound effects here. All I see are red X's left and right, just angst and wrong. Kansas City -7. Once again, they did not cover. Wrong. We took the over 47.5.
Wrong.
Tyreek Hill.
Wrong.
Travis Kelce.
Wrong.
Jordan Love.
Wrong.
Aaron Jones.
Wrong.
A.J. Dillon, anytime touchdown TD.
Wrong.
Wrong. What a terrible Penelope Earmuffs shitty game on both sides of the ball, offensively from Kansas City and defensively and offensively from Green Bay. The players of the game should be the defensive players. They blitzed Jordan Love, I think, like 22 times in that game. Yeah. Green Bay played masterfully defensively versus Kansas City. This is just a bad game, man. Aaron Jones didn't catch a damn pass. Patrick Mahomes couldn't complete a pass. This was just bad. It was bad. And I know a lot of people are going to immediately point and say Jordan Love ain't it. I don't know. I don't know how you felt about his performance. He started off, he looked like a rookie who was thrown into Arrowhead Stadium and going up against the team that's went to 3 straight AFC titles, 2 straight Super Bowls. I don't think he played he didn't play good, but I don't think he just was Davis Mills level of bad. I think it was one game, man. It was one game. And to say throwing the towel on Jordan Love after one game on the road in Arrowhead, I think that's short-sighted. I think that's a short-sighted move. He wasn't impressive, but he also made I guess his game is, I saw somebody tweet out, his game is aesthetically pleasing outside of where he needs to throw the ball to. Like, he looks like he should be good. I don't know, man. I'm a little on the fence about the Love performance. If I had to give him a performance, it'd probably be a C-. He had him in position. They were still in position to win the game. They were still in a position to win the game. I knew what he was trying to do. Hyper-target Devontae Adams, threw a pick towards the goal line, just kind of threw it up and was praying Devontae Adams came down with it. He threw a prayer to Randall Cobb that was answered. But I don't know. It was one game. I don't think in Patrick Mahomes' first game he played well either in the NFL. So I'm not going to slam the door on Jordan Love. I think it's incomplete evaluation. But Kansas City still looks bad. You slandered me for taking the under on Patrick Mahomes' passing yards. I said I think Mahomes goes under, and he went under. He didn't even have 200 yards, 166 yards, 1 touchdown. I took the under, made a little bit of money on that. I had courage of my conviction to go under. What were your thoughts on this matchup, and in particular, the the two quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love?
So I think to start, I'm just going to start with Patrick Mahomes because he was terrible. He was just awful. There was plays where Travis Kelce's wide open and he just doesn't throw him the ball. Like it was wild to me that there was just plays where Patrick Mahomes refused to check it down. And he's not talking about a check down that's 2 yards away or 3 yards up the field on third down. It's like 15 yards up the field. Kelce's wide open. But Kelce did drop some passes too. Like I think he dropped at least 2 passes. There was one that was behind him that wasn't as much his fault. But Mahomes just, for whatever reason, he's in his head, whatever it is, he's not playing well. He couldn't get Hill the ball, and that was the ultimate downfall for the Chiefs on offense. When he can't get Hill the ball, they can't do anything. They did run the ball very well, and that's where I will give them a little bit of credit. I did not expect them to run the ball because Green Bay's rush defense is actually pretty good, but Damian Williams had 90 yards on the ground. I believe he ran the ball 19 times, so they did make an effort to run the ball. Now, outside of that, Patrick Mahomes, like you said, he was outpassed by Jordan Love. That's the truth. That's what the numbers say. So how good was Patrick Mahomes? Really, not that good. He did throw a pick to Kevin King. Kevin King dropped it. So he should be the league leader in interceptions again. Unfortunately, it's Sam Darnold. But I want to go to Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love played a lot better, I think, than people realize. Because when you hear about rookies and why they're so bad, the reason why rookies are bad is because they can't read a blitz. They can't read a blitz to save their lives. Patrick Mahomes admitted this after his rookie season when he threw 50 touchdowns. He said, I never knew what was going on. I couldn't read coverages. I couldn't see blitzes. And that's what you saw from Jordan Love. You saw a guy who had no idea who was coming, couldn't slide protection, couldn't tell the backs who to block. And the backs actually did do a pretty good job for him when they could, but there was still always more defenders coming than they had blocking. And so he just got crushed out there. He threw some, YOLO balls that he had to because he tried to make plays. It didn't work out. He couldn't get Adams the ball. When he did have clean pockets, he looked okay. There was some throws that he definitely missed that he could have made, but he's still a rookie. He did throw a touchdown pass, and in my opinion, he matched the Kansas City Chiefs shot for shot. They should have had 13 points in that game. Now, I'm not saying that they would have won the game.
They missed 2 field goals. They missed Mason Crosby missed 2 field goals.
One field goal was blocked.
Yeah,
and Troy Aikman's out here blaming the holder. Oh,
I saw that. Yeah,
I
saw that. Get out
of here, man.
Yeah.
Like he's not trying to kick a 60-yard field goal here.
Yeah.
Again, I've kicked the ball. I've kicked the ball. Laces out, laces on. It does make a bit of a difference.
Jay Rich. Yeah, Jay Rich would have did it. Troy Aikman. Yeah.
Hey, man, in high school, you think my holder is spinning the ball perfectly for me? No, he's not. You got to kick it with what you got,
bro,
man. You got to make it.
You would have shanked that shit so far left,
No
but
way,
continue.
Man.
Go ahead.
I was all county.
Go ahead.
County at kicking. All county, baby.
Christ.
Don't you worry about. Don't you talk about me like that.
Go.
But Jordan Love, biggest thing is you're right. He's incomplete. He had some bad moments. He had some great moments too. And I think that we're still going to see what's going to happen with Jordan Love. But my fear, like you talked about on the show, because I listened back this morning, is that the Packers are going to jump to the conclusion that he's no good.
Yeah.
And then what happens of him? Because he's still under contract for 4 more years if they exercise his option. I guess they probably won't if they don't intend to keep him. But everyone's making fun of me because I was all county. Look, all county matters too. I wasn't D1 eligible like Mr. Garvin over here, but all county still matters. Golden boot. I'll take it.
I'm crying.
I'll take it.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
It was all about A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon, 4 receptions, 4 targets, 44 yards,
man.
second leading receiver. He looks dope. He doesn't look good. He looks dope.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be Matt LaFleur's Derrick Henry, and I am worried for Aaron Jones. Like I said this a couple weeks ago, he's going to be the majority rushing leader very soon for the Green Bay Packers, and that is a problem for Aaron Jones, regardless of the contract. A.J. Dillon looks damn good out there.
He does look good. He looks – I was so wrong. I did not like him coming out of Boston College at all. And somebody in the YouTube comments is probably there now because they will not let you forget. It was like, you're going to eat crow on this one.
Never.
Like, whatever. But Aaron Jones still looks good too. Every time he got the ball, he's explosive. Ty made a comment. He said where Patrick Mahomes typically was throwing beyond the sticks in key situations, he's throwing below. I'm telling you, there were moments in that game where it looked like they just did not trust him. Like where Kansas City was like, we're not, like in the past, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 11, they're throwing the ball. Now they were checking it down, running Darrell Williams. It was literally like Andy Reid is trying to save Patrick Mahomes from himself. And you know what this does? In Dynasty, it's another week that we can go out and acquire Patrick Mahomes because I'm still all on board. They just haven't looked good, man. The Chiefs do from the Giants game They do not look good. And if Aaron Rodgers played, they would have crushed Kansas City.
Destroyed.
They would have crushed Kansas City had Aaron Rodgers played. You know Aaron Rodgers was at home laughing. You know how. And here's the thing. Jordan Love did what he was supposed to do. He targeted Davante Adams 14 times. He did. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. He targeted Davante Adams 14 times. Dude, McCole Hardman was dropping passes. He was bad. Kansas City, and other people are saying, how does Kansas City not go after Odell Beckham? Odell wants to play for a contender. I don't believe Kansas City's a contender right now. I don't think Kansas City's better than Cleveland. I don't believe they're better than Baltimore.
In that big jumble in the middle of the AFC.
They got problems, man. I think it's incomplete. My evaluation of Jordan Love is incomplete. But we do have a game tonight, Pittsburgh versus Chicago. Oh, God. Oh, no. Not the helmet Ray again. Pittsburgh versus Chicago. Justin Fields versus TJ Watt, baby. Fields, Watt. David Montgomery is back. Will Allen Robinson be found? Najee Harris was probably subjected to a drug test because he talked about all the stuff that he's been taking, and then he tried to clarify it and say it's all legal. Najee Harris will be suspended at some point in time over the next 2 to 3 weeks because the NFL will test them. Over under 30, let's knock on wood. We don't want that to happen. Over under 39 points in this one. Good grief. Pittsburgh favored by 7. Get Chicago on the money line plus 255. What are your expectations in this one? It's an implied total of 23-17. This game should be tight, but as you put on the show sheet, 39 points. Good grief. This may be the lowest we've seen all year, and I'd probably be inclined to take the over in this one. Once again, David Montgomery is supposed to be coming back. Justin Fields is going to have to deal with TJ Watt and that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Jay, before we get out of here?
I think you're crazy, bro. If you really think this game's going over, I think you're crazy. Like,
really?
For me, is you take Chicago and the points because I think this game's going under. Like, you think about the last game Pittsburgh played, the score was 15-10. Like, Pittsburgh has a good defense still. Chicago's offense is god-awful. I don't care if David Montgomery's back. Their offense is just terrible. Because what are you going to do? It doesn't matter who's back there. You're loading 8 guys in the box. You're rushing all of them. And you're trying to stop whoever's running the ball, Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery, and you're forcing Justin Fields to pass because he can't do it. He's probably not going to beat you through the air.
I'm looking at his lines. 174, 174 and a half for
That's
Fields.
too high. He has to hit a bomb. If he doesn't hit a bomb, there's no way he hits that. There's no way. I don't think Pittsburgh can cover either. That's my only point. I think that Ben could throw a few picks. Fields could throw a few picks. We're going to see some sacks. We're going to see some fumbles. It's going to be an ugly game, man. These are 2 of the worst offenses in football. I would take the points with Chicago, and I would take the under because I just don't think 23-17 sounds like way too many points for these 2 teams that are just terrible on offense. And great on defense on top of that.
Man, Fields can't go for 175? That's crazy.
How many times has he done that? Maybe once?
I think he hit it once this year. No, he's had a 200-yard passing game. Dude, we didn't even talk about the Rams-Titans. Real quick. No, we're not going to real quick. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow.
I do want to talk about Matt Stafford, that Titans team. The Rams, Titans played fantastic. We'll get into that. Shout out to AP all day, got in the end zone. But we'll get in that game tomorrow. We'll recap that game, the Sunday night game, and the Monday night football game tomorrow. Jay, good show. Comments, thank you all. I hope y'all all have a fantastic start to the week. Make it great, man. Go out there, inspire, be positive, take that step. Whatever it is you procrastinated about, go get it, man. Don't wait, don't delay. 2021 is almost over. Make it great, baby. We appreciate y'all checking in. Subscribe, tap in. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.